What's up, everybody?
Good evening. Back again.
Back again, our nightly routine here. And are you sipping? Did you get some Bullet or are you drinking the Buffalo Trace?
Actually,
Or did you come prepared ahead of time?
This is Four Roses single barrel.
Oh, okay.
Had that one in the cabinet for a long time, and I was like,
Feeling a little fancy.
yeah,
Four Roses.
Is that considered a fancy bourbon?
No, it's not. It's like a $35 bourbon or something.
Yeah, this is a single barrel. This isn't just the.
Okay, so it might be a little upper class.
Yeah.
No, I just am like Four Roses. It's got the roses on the bottle. You know, the story was about he gave the 4 roses to his woman. Like it's kind of a love story behind it.
I've seen like the funny memes. Like I got my wife a dozen roses for Valentine's Day, and it's
3 bottles.
3 bottles of 4 roses.
Yeah, they have some high end 4 roses, but I'm not a huge 4 roses guy.
I don't know that I've ever had this one bottle, and I've had it a while. Maybe the only time I've ever even had it. And yeah, I just randomly picked it up one day. Just
Really?
trying something different.
Yeah. I've enjoyed that. Did you try any of that? The Bullet 10?
I've had Bullet. Yeah, Bullets. Yeah.
You know,
Good bourbon.
we channel our John Dutton drinking that.
He does. Yeah, that's right.
You know, the people hate on it, but our good friend Tim DeSalvo, he loves him some Blantons, and I love Blantons. And when people hate on it, I think about, you know, which movie character drinks some Blantons?
It seems like I should know.
You should, and nobody would make fun of this guy for drinking it.
Who?
He's a killing machine.
You have to tell me.
John Wick.
John Wick. You know, it's been too long, and I can't keep up with which John Wicks I've seen and which ones I haven't. Because how many are there now?
The 4th one is not out yet, I don't think.
So I've definitely seen 1, and I think I've seen 2.
They're all good.
Is 2 when he goes and checks into like the hotel or whatever?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
I don't know that I've seen past 2 then, but I need to.
They're badass movies.
Yeah.
They're what I love about a movie. It's just and it has an interesting plot, like as all stuff kind of continues to unfold. But at the end of the day, it's a man's movie.
The whole, I guess, kind of backstory in the first one. You know, me working with animals every day, that kind of, because unfortunately it's so sad, but I'm in that situation sometimes. I mean, shouldn't say sometimes. It seems like it's all the time where somebody's there and they're having to put their dog down, and the dog belonged to a family member.
Oh yeah,
that has passed away, and that's a little different. Like she left him the dog, obviously, because she knew she was going to die, but the dog was a very real connection he still had to her. But we get into that, and like, it's terrible, especially when people are like, it's maybe somebody our parents' age, their generation, and they're there with a dog and they're putting it down. And they're like, yeah, this was my son's dog, and he died 2 years ago. You're just like, God dang, man.
Yeah, that would be brutal. That would be brutal.
And so I always think about, like, it always kind of reminds me of John Wick.
Yeah. Well, that's what
in a weird kind of way, but
they messed around, man. Shouldn't have messed with this dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if I came out here and somebody had bashed Bear's head in, I'd probably do some pretty good damage.
Yeah.
But he drinks some Blantons in that one. I was like, nice, when I saw the bottle of Blantons. But, so anyways, I've got a few things. I had a guy write in, a listener. He responded on YouTube, and he, all right. Let's see here. He obviously listened. He must listen to the show because he mentioned both of us. And it was on the video. I want to make sure I get the right video. All right. It was on the video that I did about, whoops. Gotta get this thing popped up here. All right. I guess it's my most recent video where it was operating in debt and financing equipment / line of credit. And he commented on there. And he just asked if me and you could, he said, can you and Bobby Lee, do you think you and Bobby Lee could touch on this topic a little more on the podcast? I would love to have his input as my farming venture more closely aligns with his setup. So I'm taking these probably in the cattle realm.
Right. Okay.
So how you buy equipment and your line of credit, which I mean, from a line of credit standpoint, I feel like it'd be pretty much the same.
Yeah. I don't know all your details, but yeah, I think we both use the same lender. Farm Credit. Well, they're not a sponsor, but they should be.
They should be. I need to actually call them again.
Yeah, but anyway,
we use the Indian 24/7. You know, the little Indian joints that'll give you fast cash 24/7. That's what we both run our operations on.
Borrow $100, pay back $105 or whatever.
I was gonna say 27% interest rate. Yeah, but no, yeah. Tell a little bit about I guess start on how do you go about financing the equipment. Because for me, you know, I mean, and it's still, I guess you could essentially break it down per acre, but you know, all my stuff's broke down per acre. This is what I'm going to make.
So,
yada, yada.
And yeah, I don't do that now. Right. And I don't, of course, have just an enormous amount of equipment, but anytime we've had to buy anything, and I'm pretty sure I've used them actually as my lender. I'm trying to think. Every time I've ever had to buy any equipment, and again, by them, I mean Farm Credit.
Yeah.
I find a piece of equipment, I call or text, or now they've even got the app. You know, I think it was when I bought my hay baler last spring. I called him and he's like, download the app and use it just because I want you to try it out. And he said, I guess
you can put the equipment in on the app.
I
haven't tried that,
but it was he wanted me to try it out because it was like, we're still like in the kind of the testing phase.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's probably not updated, but you go on there and you kind of fill out what you want to buy, and they're real easy to work with. Which I won't say I'm in a unique position, but they have a lot of my financial stuff. Our house is financed through them. We've got a bunch of stuff with our veterinary business too.
Yeah, they're like, if this dude don't pay, we'll just take his house, take his business.
Like, they know me.
Yeah,
pretty well. I won't say. I mean, I'm sure they've got much bigger fish, but like I call them, and you know, they especially the. I mean, I'm not buying, you know, cotton pickers that are $1.2 million, you know, brand new.
Yeah,
I'm buying, you know, I don't have a single piece of equipment worth more than $100,000, probably not about half that, worth about $50,000 on my tractor. And so, yeah, and they're easy to work with. It's, you know, I'm usually not in a situation where I've got to buy something like right then.
Yeah.
You know, I guess if I was going to go to an auction or something like that, I'd want to talk to them beforehand and say, hey, I got my eye on this equipment. This is what I think it's going to cost. And I think they've told me before that, like, yeah, which you would know better about that, you know, and I guess, see, I've got my line of credit, and like right now, my line of credit, you know, I don't owe it anything because we sold our calves. I use it mainly just to buy the animals.
Is it revolving?
Oh man, I don't keep up.
Do you pay it completely off, or do you pay it down to $1?
I think I just pay it down. Yeah.
All right, so it's probably revolving.
Yeah, I don't have to like reapply every year.
Yeah.
I needed to increase it a couple of years ago because cattle, just like everything else, was getting more expensive, and
yeah,
I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go over because when I first opened it, I pretty much opened it at the dollar figure of exactly what we needed. But I mean, because that money's just sitting there right now. I mean, if I stumbled across a tractor I wanted to buy tomorrow, I guess I could use it.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, I think what they'll do is, then you maybe can use that line of credit for the initial purchase, but then you can roll that over into an actual equipment loan.
I did that on my combine when I traded combines. I bought the combine and I paid for it out of the line of credit, and then I was like, because I was kind of going back and forth. I was like, do I want to pay for it? Do I want to finance it? And so then I was like, I'm going to finance it. So I just called him and I kind of told him the amount that it was, and they looked it up, and they finance it. And then they cut you a check for the I was about to reveal my number, but they cut you the check for it, and then you essentially you cash the check, pay off that amount in the line of credit, and you're back to square one on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a pretty cool thing for me because I don't know that you can do that with FSA.
I would doubt it, just because everything with them is so much more.
Yeah, they'd be like, well, we can, but you're going to have to fill out 127 pages. And you could be like, man, it's a $5,000 head catch sweep tub combo, man. You know, it's $5,000. Well, we're going to need 127 pages from you.
And you're exactly right on that sort of thing. It's just like, all right, this is not worth it. And again, the people in our local office were good. They were always good to me. But
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, the amount of red tape you have to sift through. It's at a certain point, like, okay, you know, that tiny difference in interest is just not worth it.
No. And and then now I've heard, I had a guy comment on my YouTube that said that their interest rate, now this may have been just on land, but their interest rate's up to 5.5%. And that's not very, I mean, you're talking used to, it was 2 to 3%. I mean, so that was like, man, you can put up with some headache.
That was crazy good. But yeah, we like when I used that line of credit, and I guess was it last week when we were talking about them stopping the cattle sale because I didn't have the money in my checking account.
Yeah.
But I had it in my line of credit, but of course I didn't give them that information. So yeah, like here in the next month or two, when we buy, say right now I'm planning on buying a bunch of heifers, I'll buy them, and like if I buy them through a livestock auction, you know, I'll get my invoice or whatever for what I owe them, and I just immediately call Farm Credit and say, hey, I bought, or they don't even care. They don't even ask. And it's like, hey, I need you to transfer so many thousands of dollars, or you can even do it online.
I was going to say, do you not do it online? That's how I do all mine.
I do it so rarely because, I mean, it's typically once or twice a year I'm buying cattle.
Yeah.
And so I've forgotten how my login. Like I don't log in regularly on that stuff, and so sometimes it is just easier for me to just Google their office, be like, oh, there's their number, call them up.
No, and I get that.
You know, what's your password? What are, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then that money shows up in my checking account the next day. I write just a check out of my checking account and mail it in, and cattle are paid for. But obviously I owe the line of credit, and then same thing when I sell them, I just pay the line of credit back down.
The line of credit, man. It's
just an easy loan, is all it is.
It is, and the revolving line, like that's what you got. You know, if you pay it down to $1, it's revolving, and so that was, you know, with farm or FSA, I don't think they even offer a revolving line. Like it was every year you had to redo it.
And so that's that's where it's just such a pain with them.
It is, and like with Farm Credit, like if I pick up some acres, I can pretty well tell my guy, like, man, I'm going to need to increase that line of credit. It's usually not that difficult to increase it. But I like the revolving line, but you got to be careful. Like that's the one thing, especially with Farm Credit. Because like I told Marcy, I mean, when I joke with her and I'm like, we could go buy a Ferrari with our line of credit if we wanted to.
They don't ask. Like when I call up there, and I used to tell them like, hey, we bought some calves, I need to transfer this money. But like they don't.
No, I mean, and they gave me a checkbook, a credit card, the online thing. So it's like.
Yeah. I think they offered to give me checks, and I was like, no, you can just.
Man, I use
transfer it.
That's what I use. Like the credit card, I don't use a lot because even it has a limit, and you know, I think it's got like a $3,500 limit. Well, in the world of agriculture, especially in the row crop realm,
if you're
$3,500,
you can't even buy some parts for that.
Yeah, like I'm writing a check all the time. Like I had to pay a guy. I had to pay a dude. Oh, it was a couple months ago. I don't remember. I guess it was maybe for the shed or our farm store. And I was talking to him, and I wrote him a check for it was like $40,000. And the guy was like, boy, I bet that, he said, it probably hurts to write that kind of check, don't it? And I said, well, I farm row crop. I was like, I'm used to writing even worse. Like I'm used to paying, when I pay Helena or somebody, you know, we're talking damn near $400,000 check. So like, this one don't hurt too bad, but a credit card, you max them out too quick, or not max them out. You hit the limit too quickly. And you can call, I've had to use it before and call and like increase the limit, but you know, it only is increased for like 24 hours. Yeah. And I get it. You know, you don't want a card in your wallet that has, let's say you have a $700,000 line of credit. You don't want just an endless credit card where somebody could get it and be like, damn, you know, they could go and just keep buying stuff.
Yeah. So now, with that limit, you go to John Deere to get parts and you get like a case of grease and maybe a couple
some
bolts
hand towels.
Yeah. And they'd be like, yeah, sorry. Your card's been declined.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, it's true. Oh, I told a guy the other day, I had to go by and I've got a guy running the Traco for me.
Yeah, you told me you had somebody.
Yeah, I've got a dude on the Traco. Man, he's really putting in some work too. And I had to buy some hydraulic oil, a funnel, a crescent wrench, or not a crescent wrench, a monkey wrench, a couple other things. And it was like $195. And a buddy of mine had called me when I had just walked out of there and I was driving to the Traco, and I told him, I said, dude, I said, farming. I said, man, I said, damn it, it's expensive. I said, I don't hardly leave my house without spending $200, $300 a day.
Yeah.
I was like, it is insane how much I spend especially now with 2 Tracos. My other one is broke down. My Deere that I just bought, it's broke down.
You hadn't got them to come out and look at it yet?
The guy came yesterday, and it's muddy, and it's broke down off in the field, and so he couldn't drive to it, so he had to get in my truck, and we drove to it, and he was like, I don't have any tools. And he was like, what's it doing? And so I described what it was doing, and he's like, all right, you're going to have to pull the fuel tank off. And he said, you're going to have to drain it, and then you're going to have to flush it. And then you need to put some like abrasive material in there and flush it around to get the rust. He was like, you're getting rust in your lines. He said, then you need to change your starter. And I was like, how am I going to remove the fuel tank? And he said, well, you take out these bolts, that bolts, and all that. And I was like, is this not something that you can do? I said, man, I said, I got another machine and a bulldozer. I said, I really need to be over there if I can't be running this. And he said, well, I can't even get a truck over here. How am I supposed to, he was like, I can't work on it over here. Oh, so Lord. They've ordered me a starter. I'm going to have to put a starter on it. I'm going to try to prime it up. I guess I'm going to have to try to do the dang thing myself. So that hasn't been a great thing, but I don't even remember where I was going with that. That's a prime example there. That guy came out, told me all that, looked at it. I am certain I'll probably get at least $180 bill for him to come out and just be like, yeah, I think there's rust in the tank. Need to do all that. Like he told me he was there for about 15 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt it.
So to tell me like, here's what you need to do. I can't do it because it's over here. So sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, the line of credit, man, I'm a big fan of lines of credit, especially with farm credit. You know, the thing I never liked about FSA, and I don't know if it's any better on the livestock side, but I hated the fact that you had to get the receipt and then the cash would be transferred later. Because there was times like in the row crop side, like if I had to buy something, I needed it then. Like I didn't have the luxury of being like, give me a receipt first, I'll pay you in a couple days. You know, like I didn't have that luxury.
Right.
So was that ever an issue for you on the livestock?
No, not too bad. Cause you know, when we would buy the cattle, I guess they, you know, we're buying them through a sale barn livestock auction. So, you know, we'd call and tell them what we wanted. You know, they'd get them bought for us, and you know, they'd send us the cattle in an invoice, and I don't know, we would have a few days to pay it. And so, you know, it was always one of those things where, I was always trying to, as soon as I'd get it from them, I was trying to get it because, you know, I don't want them wondering about me and like calling me like, hey, you can send that check, you know, or anything like that.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I mean, right. I see exactly what you're saying. It's kind of awkward to do it like that.
Yeah. Well, it makes you like, you're like, I've got the necessary funding. Like it's
which is what everybody says right before they rip you off.
Yes, it is.
I promise I'm good for it.
Yeah. Yeah. The check will clear, man. When it clears.
Or I can go ahead and write you one today, but can you hold on to it?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's, I don't know that one. That's the thing. And I will add, like a line of credit, you know, it ain't free money. You're paying interest. That's why, like, I try to resist tapping into it until I absolutely have to. And I mean, which it'll start, typically I start dipping into my line of credit, man, usually around, April when we are going, I'm buying some fuel. You might have some tires go down. You start buying like different things. That's when I'll start using it. And you'll pay interest. It'll have an interest rate. Right now, interest rates being as terrible as they are, you're probably talking 5 to 7% interest.
Yeah.
So you will pay interest on it, but it is the blood. It's the lifeline of the operation, essentially. Most guys that I know that are farming at any size at all, they have a line of credit they operate out of.
Yeah.
Do you have multiple?
No. Yeah. You kind of strive, and I've kind of thought about this too. I would love to be stout enough one day
to not have one.
Yeah, to be my own bank, and to be able to do that. And you hear about some of those operations. A lot of them got old money.
Yeah,
that just like they don't know a dime on anything. You're like, God dang, that's where you strive to be.
Oh yeah. It's yeah. You just gotta get way ahead to ever get there. Cause see, I've got probably 4 lines of credit.
Yeah.
Now I don't tap into all of them, and a lot of times, see, now most of your companies, your chemical companies, will want to do, like your input companies offer lines of credit.
Right.
And I mean, now they're different from my farm credit one in that I can't go buy a tractor and pay for it out of theirs. Seed, chemical, fertilizer, which that's a vast chunk of your spending right there. So. Line of credit. I mean, I feel like that's pretty good explanation on there.
Yeah.
It's similar. It's very similar on the cattle side. I mean, it operates the same. Now, the other thing I was going to go over before I get into the story that I got, I wrote this down. I get Farm Futures. Do you get that magazine?
I think I do. I don't. I'm trying. The name. It seems like I can picture that on the cover of a magazine.
Yeah.
That or my dad gets it and he throws it on my desk at the office sometimes.
He probably does. He gets like 2,500 magazines because he'll bring them by here and everything else too.
Oh, so he does that to y'all too?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been in there and seen the stack of magazines on the coffee table?
At least once a week, I have to just take a garbage can to my desk and just rake stuff off of it. And it's all stuff that he put there.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you really reading those?
Well, I get so annoyed with him. This is totally not ag related, but it's I'm like, this is clearly junk mail. But it like some of it for the vet clinic, it'll be stuff with my name on it, but if it comes to our post office box,
yeah.
I'm like, why? He's like, what's got your name on it? I'm like, well, that's so clearly junk. When I used to have a post office box, like I wouldn't even walk out of the post office with stuff like that. I would go
I always chunk that
straight to the trash can right there. He's like, well, then your address is right there. And I'm like, people really come in the post office, rifle through the trash, and if what they find is my address, like I don't care. Like, I mean, this is junk.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a. Oh, at least daily there's some kind of magazine on my desk that I'm like, I'm not going to read this.
Yes.
Nobody reads a paper magazine anymore.
I get several, but like I have to actually make myself sit down and read them. But I did read one today.
The few things I still like looking through, like equipment magazines, like Tractor House or Fastline.
Yeah.
Which of course I use the Tractor House app more.
So I was gonna say I just look online for all that.
And
now.
like cattle sale, like bull sale catalogs. Like there's something, and all of them, like you can pull up the file online and click through it. Like if I'm seriously shopping for a bull, I really like having that magazine. I can flip through it, I can write on it, and circle, and compare.
Yeah.
There's something about, I guess I'm still old enough where that's important to me.
Oh yeah. Well, I like physical copies of things.
Yeah.
But they gave an interesting thing. I thought this was kind of neat. So they have done, I guess the USDA, this is their forecast for 2023 in terms of bushels and all that. I didn't look at the acres. Corn, they're expecting to be the moneymaker of 2023.
So they're already predicting how good our yields are going to be?
Yep.
See, and I know
they base them off of the 20 years. They look at 20 years of data and they like average them out how over the span of the years and how they play out. That's how they calculate it.
And like from just a purely statistical standpoint, somebody could probably tell you like, that this is how they can be so accurate because they can look back and
the
yields have been increasing at a rate of 2 bushels an acre over the last, whatever. But still, like, that annoys me that they're already, like, we don't know that we ain't even got a crop in the ground. And and
they make sure to add the caveat, like, this can change, like, this can alter.
Here's this information, and it may not mean shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But they will, they've already got it in there, because that's what I was kind of surprised. I was like, wow.
Well, I know people that get, especially farmers and all that, these reports come out. It's like, well, they're predicting this, and it makes the market go down. Like, we ain't got a crop yet.
It
just drives you crazy
when the USDA reports come out.
Yeah, because they got a big rain across the Corn Belt, this past week, and it's right at a critical time. We're pollinating or whatever, and
Well, see, they're essentially they even have these expectations and forecasts actually even carries into 2024. They've already got some predictions for 24, but the corn, and again, it's so early to be figuring this, but they're saying corn is estimated to average 181 bushel an acre, which was up, I think, from like 177, and they're saying an average price of $5.70 a bushel, so that's $1,034 an acre.
Yeah.
And man, they got some high dollar corn, like cost wise. Like they probably have rent added in there, I'm guessing, because their cost per acre is $870 an acre. Now, I figure $500 to $600 on corn. But if I was paying, if you just said $150 an acre rent, that'd be, if you had 600, that's still $870 is pretty high, but you got them dumbasses paying like $250 and $300 an acre rent.
Yeah,
they would be in that class. So I guess that would be there. So the profit on corn was $164 an acre. Here's what was interesting to me: the profit in 2022 was $290 an acre. The profit in 2021 was $323 an acre, and now the profit is $164 an acre. And the prices of corn, I didn't go back and look, but 21, the price of corn was not $5.70 bushel.
Yeah.
It was a good bit lower.
But the inputs,
the cost,
so high. Fuel.
Yep, fuel, fertilizer. Yep. And soybeans, you're looking at, they're saying a 52 bushel average at $13 is $676 an acre. And they got some real high costs, man, on those. But again, I guess they're calculating the fertilizer. They're nearly $600 an acre in soybeans. They got $591 an acre. Man, I usually figure probably around $200 an acre.
Good Lord,
on soybeans. Now, again, that's not with the rent, so let's throw $150 in there. That's still $350. And I'll even go up to $400. Let's say you got $250 an acre in soybeans, but $400, that's still nearly $200 an acre more. So I don't know. But again, there are some people paying really stupid rent.
So you gonna plant any corn this year?
I'm planning to do a good bit of corn.
Even with those figures? Soybeans sound awfully.
The profit of soybeans is $85 an acre.
Well, using their figures, but like you just said, if you can put in a soybean crop for a lot cheaper than that.
Well, but if it's all bushels and acres, like acres kind of game, man. If I can get corn to average 180 bushels, I would probably plant corn over beans about any time. Which I love growing corn. Corn is what I like, except for this year. But again, similar boat. Profit for this year on beans, they were saying $85 an acre. In 20
was that a national average on that 181 bushel on corn?
Yeah.
And so, and not that you couldn't individually average that, but typically in our area we won't average. We'll be below the national average, though, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you average the total area, like there'll be, I've had fields that would average 200.
I'm just saying Tipton County.
But they will.
Our county average will be less than the national.
Yeah, because there are farmers around here that will average 110 bushel acre. They're
in a good year.
In a good year. There's some that they just they may not even fertilize hardly. You know, they're going to just scrap a corn crop in. So, but again, same thing. Beans profit this year $85 an acre. 2022, $100 an acre, and 2021, $156 an acre.
Yeah.
I have always said that I actually like low price years better. Like, meaning low, like the market prices are down, because I've said before, like, I actually make more money when the market prices are low, because everything else is usually cheap.
Yeah.
Like, everything else is usually down. And that's the bad thing when you see $13 beans. I mean, dude, it was not that long ago. I was selling beans. I sold beans for $7, like a few years ago. So $13 beans is like, whoa, man, you know, that's a big jump there.
But yeah, everybody, chemical companies see that and they know they can charge more. And
yep.
Yeah, just everything. I mean, it's just inflation in general. Like, everything costs so much more today.
Yeah.
Than it did 3 years ago.
What'll be interesting is the costs are so high, and historically, you know, they're like record, you know, they got to like record highs. Now, I did see a lot of stuff is coming down, but I don't know that they'll ever go back to where they were. And it said here that if we get these yields and all that, it says expect 2023 to recover world production. So it means it'll make the cash prices and futures moving forward at least $1 or more lower. So, like, they're already expecting, if we make these yields, then going into 2024, we will be looking at 12, 11, you know, 11 to probably $10 to $12 beans, and probably $3 to $5 corn. So it's, I don't know. It's interesting. You know, again, it is way too early for them to have any idea.
Well, it's one of these things are so wild, like, for them to even, like, man, you know, and I guess, you know, there's just so much money out there involved and people speculating on the market, you know, so they do these sorts of things, but I don't know. I don't know that there's a role for the USDA to be exploring that
already.
Like what? Well, and like, I don't know. And obviously we've got a pretty libertarian mindset here where you know, the government having a role in doing that. Like, yeah, I don't know that I necessarily understand or agree with that, but
yeah,
whatever.
Well, like I said, they wreak havoc on our markets. When they do the report, they will, I mean, there's been several years, like I'm in that big Southern farming group, and guys will be enraged whenever the USDA thing, because it's come out before. There's been years where it'd come out and we know acres are down on stuff. Like, because, I mean, the group I'm in, it's like 60,000 people in this group, like, and they're farmers across, it's the United States. We do have a couple guys from Israel. It's pretty interesting seeing their farming. But for the most part, it's all in the United States. And like, they've done polls at these times, and guys will be like, yeah, these are down, these acres are down, my acre's down here, and like all that. And then the USDA report would come out and the acres would be up like substantially, and it would kill the prices, and people would be on there and guys would be like, it's bullshit. Like, people would be fired up because it just smokes the market. So, I mean, You're at the mercy of it. So, I don't know.
Well, it's the same way with cattle. You have all these different reports, cattle on feed report, and all sorts of things that come out. It's just, you just brace for it, and I mean, you can, because I don't keep up with, because I'm not certainly playing futures and all, you know, speculating and you know, buying and selling cattle every week, but yeah, for people who are, like, that's a big deal, you know, and trying to predict not even what's actually going to happen, but just what these reports are going to say. It becomes a big part of the game, and it's you have to market off speculation. Yeah, and that is frustrating. Yeah, you talking about the cattle? We every now and then, I know we throw some Instagram videos up here. I got to try to find this one. There's, you know, we're Yellowstone fans. We were talking about John Dutton earlier. There is this page on Instagram. I'd like to give some shout outs to some Instagram pages. Now it's a chick, and I think she only has, like, I've only seen a couple Yellowstone posts from her.
but she does these spoofs of like Yellowstone. It's her and I guess her husband or something.
Oh, it's like Yellowstone in 45 seconds.
Yes, have you seen that one?
I've seen 2 of them they've done.
I was going to play it just so y'all can hear it because the chick is spot on with Beth.
Yeah.
Now the language is bad. I think they say the F word, but y'all, I mean, you know what you in for on the show.
Yeah, it's making fun of like just how simple and silly the show is. Right?
Yeah.
I know what to do about these damn cows.
Just process the meat, Daddy.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
Mr. Dutton,
Who the hell are you?
my name's Keith. I'm a developer. I want to buy your land.
Why don't you fucking purchase this, you son of a bitch?
Oh! What is wrong with you? All right, Beth, that's enough.
Okay, Daddy.
You Duttons are animals. Damn it, Casey. It's a good shot. Rip.
Yes, sir.
Train station.
It's the 12th one this week.
There goes Monica crying again.
See, I appreciated that one for them making fun of Monica.
Me too. That was the best
like,
part. Because she is such a crybaby.
Monica, God dang. Like, the more I talk to people, because I'm like, you know, because she's like the minority character in the show. Like,
oh,
are
yeah.
you allowed to, like, no, like, that's the most pathetic person. And she has a bunch of bad stuff happen to her, but man.
And she's so, I always hated it because she also brought this weird liberal element to the show too. Like she's kind of like this weird liberal, but she's with this hard ass Casey who was like was he like a SEAL or a Green Beret or something?
He's definitely,
he's a killing machine. Yeah. And it's like, I tell Marcy all the time, like, I hate Monica. I'm like, I hate her on the show.
The more I talk to people, because, you know, I was kind of afraid to say it, but like now everybody hates her.
Yes.
Like her character sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could have done something cool with that character. But she's just a crybaby.
I'm like, you go back to like one of the earlier seasons, like they like kind of semi-split up and she was kind of flirting with the other dude, but nothing ever really happened. And,
yeah. Was that when she was teaching?
Yeah, and I guess when she got hurt, she was going through rehab. It was like
that's
the
right.
rehab guy.
Yeah.
You know, the physical therapist, I guess what he would be.
Yeah.
And it's just like what had Casey ever done to you?
And that's what I'm thinking. And I'm like, and you stripped him away from like his freaking this bad. I mean, look, I get it. I understand.
But you can see where the show is headed because, especially if you watched 1883 and like what was it, the Indian, you know that I don't know, Tim McGraw's character meets. You know, you can have the valley, but in 7 generations, whatever, it's going to come back to us.
I forget that's what he says.
And then
in
it's
there.
like, but then Tate is clearly like, and I hadn't counted all the generations out, but like the ranch, like Tate is going to be the only heir because.
Beth can't have,
Beth can't have children. Jamie's been disowned. Lee died.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's all Tate. And heck, which, I mean, any other offspring would also be Native Americans too, but
and then the other son, well, surely everyone has seen
if
this
you're not
part.
caught up now, but yeah, so clearly it's going to go, but it'll still be the Dutton family ranch, but it will also be
Native American blood. Yeah. Okay. I had not thought about that.
And Taylor Sheridan's liable to pull, a spoiler or not a spoiler, but a surprise on us at some, it won't go like exactly.
I don't know how that dude keeps it all straight in his head.
Yeah.
Did you watch 1923? Did you finish it? Are you caught up?
I believe I'm caught up.
Man.
If I'm not caught up, it's because I thought I was, because they had like a 3 or 4 week break.
Yeah, it starts the 5th.
Yeah, I believe, yes, we've got another week, before it comes out. But
man.
Yeah, I'm 99% certain. So, in a spoiler alert, but the last episode I saw, Spencer hadn't come home, but he's read the letters.
Yes.
He's getting ready to.
I think we talked about that on last episode. Yes.
So I am caught up fully.
Yeah, that is the last episode.
He's about to
come kick some ass.
He's about to come lay the law down.
If he don't,
at least what the expectation is.
I was gonna say, if he don't come and like Glasgow smile, cut the dude's face with some jaguar claws or something, I'm gonna be real disappointed.
And this would kind of be fitting of like just something you wouldn't see. Like he's on a boat coming back across the Atlantic and it sinks. Like, oh yeah, he just died like that. Very just, oh well, we kind of built you up, and you know everybody loved this character.
Because they've put it up either way, because she alluded to Spencer's badassery, but she also said your fight is with me, and she said she said men kill quickly, women we kill much slower. So you never know, man. You never know. But I don't know. There's y'all's Yellowstone update out of the blue there for us. But I got an interesting story here, and it goes about what I've said before about how the big get bigger and they know how to manipulate stuff. And this is local to Tennessee here. So I just saw this. This was on the 18th. I had been saving it to talk about. But and I had to subscribe. Like, this is how serious I was about getting this article. I had to subscribe to the Tennessean. Do you subscribe to that?
No, I mean, we were just talking about how print media is dead. That's the big Nashville newspaper. Yeah. Well,
I was like, well, so the headline said, small Tennessee farmers to USDA. Tyson's poultry contractors are not family farms. And so apparently the town, it's in West Tennessee where they built the big Tyson plant, the chicken, Bobby Lee's favorite, the chicken plant.
Yeah.
And it's a $425 million poultry processing plant in Gibson County. And I know some guys this past season that hauled some grain to them from here. They were paying a premium, and it was when the granaries were like shut down. So it was like they're
one of the few outlets they had for grain.
Which it was a hell of a drive. Like, I don't even know how far that is. 120 miles or something?
Yeah, that'd be round trip probably.
Okay, yeah.
Shouldn't be. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that'd probably be about right for round trip, depending on where exactly in Gibson County it is.
Yeah. Well, so Tyson, they're a huge, huge thing. I mean, Tyson they're a big time, and they're at the size where they know how to kind of manipulate some things. That's no telling how many lawyers are on staff at this place. It says they touted more than 1,500 jobs.
I hope they got one that can get old boy off the hook for sleeping in a woman's bed.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
John Tyson.
Yes, yeah, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, the people in the area, they've had a lot of concerns over pollution, health risks, all that stuff, whatever. But it turns out in December, a group called Concerned Citizens of West Tennessee filed a federal lawsuit against the USDA alleging that the FSA approved more than $3.5 million in loans for 16 poultry warehouses in Henderson County for Tyson contractors. And the Tyson contractors' names it's Guyan LLC and Trang Guyan LLC. Trang Guyan, that sounds like just a good old country boy straight out of the woods of Tennessee there to me, Trang Guyan, Guyan. I mean, I'm sure that dude has no Asian blood in him. But they own these things, and each facility says would house up to 39,000 birds, with operations largely controlled by Tyson. And they had been apparently they had been operating them and claiming them as small, like, family farms that were the contractors of it. But I guess upon further digging, I mean, these are LLCs and I'm assuming it's Guyan, N-G-U-Y-N.
So
I don't know how they pronounce that.
It may be Win or I'm not an expert. I don't know how they say it.
Yeah. Some letter is silent, and I don't know which one it is.
Win, it may even be it's not one of those where you can use hooked on phonics to figure it out.
No, I was gonna say, because then I'm like Nguyen.
You can't just sound it out on some of those.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube and you know how to pronounce Nguyen as a
Win is, I want to say it may just be like win.
Well, what a dumb way to spell it.
This is totally off topic, I hesitate to even tell these stories, but I was watching. You felt so bad for this guy. It was on a Wheel of Fortune, and he had I
saw this mythological.
Yeah, it was mythological hero, and it was Achilles.
Yeah,
and he he gets the whole thing is spelled out. It's like, I'm going to solve it. He says like mythological hero Achilles or something.
Yeah. And he had $1 million. He had $1 million.
And they're
thing.
like, I don't think we can accept that. And I was like, oh my God, the poor dude. Like
the chick next to him had like $600, and she was like, Achilles.
Yeah.
And they're like, yep. And the host is like, sorry, you do have to pronounce it properly.
And part of me, because I felt so bad for the guy, I was like, well, who gets to decide how they pronounce it?
Yeah.
Because so many different words. And like, clearly it was Achilles.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's how it was.
I just want to be like, somebody somewhere way back in ancient Greek mythology, maybe we've been saying it wrong all these years.
That's true. How do we know we're right?
How do we know? And I was like, because to me, I was like, I didn't even realize, I'm not a Wheel of Fortune guy, that you had to fully pronounce it correctly and everything, even after it was already spelled out.
I didn't either. I just figured if you spelled it out, you won.
Well, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, he got it. Like, why is this video being shared? And then I was like, oh, damn, dude. But anyway, yeah. Sorry.
Well, if you're watching,
we have no idea how to say that name.
We don't, and that's what I say. If you're watching, type out, and don't just assume and send us something and then you don't know. If you're watching and you know, then write it out how you would pronounce it in the comments below.
The reason I say that, there was actually a guy, he played linebacker for the Cowboys. And this would have been 20 years ago anyway. And I'm pretty sure that was his last name, and it seemed like it was Win.
Win
is the way they would say it.
Well, that's just dumb.
Or Win or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know.
I don't like that. I think that's just unnecessary. That'd be like with my name spelled Logan. If I was like, it's just Gan. The L and O, like the L and the O are silent. They're just
they're just there for aesthetics.
Yeah. I don't know, but no, that was pretty interesting. When I saw that, I was like,
So there's a local group that's suing the USDA for approving those loans.
Yeah,
because it was, I guess,
it wasn't family.
It was supposed to be intended, or that loan was supposed to be for small time farmers.
Yep.
And
family farms, and they're not family farms. They're the N Win Gwyn LLCs. So they're not. They're Trang. Oh man, yeah, that's an interesting name. Trang Gwyn, whatever. I mean, I haven't seen the guys that own it. It might be like the most redneck hillbilly dude I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know. But yeah, they were apparently doing some shady stuff, and that's always been my frustration. Again, that's why me and you've said many times, like what I'd love to see is just let's not have the government in it at all.
Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about Farm Credit. You can get loans elsewhere. But yeah, the frustration comes in when they're, and again, not wanting to speculate too much, but where they getting preferential treatment as a minority potentially. And then also, manipulating the system and using it to get. Because did it say how many different loans that individual had? You said something about how many different barns they had with 39,000.
I think there was 16 barns. It says they just approved more than $3.5 million in loans for 16 poultry warehouses. So it don't say how many loans, but it was enough to tally $3.5 million.
I get annoyed when they get like preferential treatment. I say they, like somebody labeled as a minority, gets preferential treatment. It's like, what? I don't know.
At what point does it become unfair for the other side? Like that's kind of one thing I think about.
And kind of on this subject, and we're getting into college and things like that. Certain minorities, you get in easier. They change the standards and whatnot. But and like with Asians, obviously the stereotype, they're super smart. They I'm pretty sure, and I don't know if it was all the Ivy League schools, but some of the Ivy League schools had to change like how they admit minorities because they were becoming so overwhelmingly Asian
that they were no longer the minority.
Right. On their campuses, they weren't even remotely, like they were the majority by a long shot. And so now they're having to almost like discriminate against them.
Yeah. Well, look, man, the way I look at it, and I'm not naive. Like back in the day, was racism like a huge problem on stuff like that? Yeah. You know, I mean, absolutely it was. Do I think that it's a big problem today? No, I don't. Like, I don't think it is.
Not when it comes to, like securing loans and things like that. Like banks.
Nobody cares.
Banks do care about color, but it's one color.
Green.
And it's green.
Yeah.
Yes. It don't have crap to do with anything else.
Yep.
Other than green. And yeah, and so it's silly when you like, we're going to make it easy. Like, what? And I mean, I have family members and whatnot that they've benefited.
That are black.
Not quite, but that have benefited from having a business in the spouse's name because then they're a female-owned business.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, hey, don't hate the player, hate the game, you know.
Yeah.
They're just playing the game, and they're like, yeah, I can put this in my wife's name, and now all of a sudden we're a minority-owned business. We can do all this.
Yeah.
You know, we get preferential, like we can secure government contracts and stuff that we, if it was just me, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But
you're grinning because you ripped one.
If that was the case, I'd always be grinning.
Did you just rip one?
I did.
Bobby, he's been fumigating.
Told you, my kids love, and you know, because with young kids find something to eat, they love beans and ham. So yeah, we cooked a big pot of beans and ham this week. So
I knew I smelled a little something, kind of stings the nostrils, and I was like, yeah,
it's kind of a man cave. I mean, that's allowable, right?
Oh yeah, yes. No termites. You know, it's fumigating for termites in here. Yeah. But no, I'm the guy. Like, what I honestly think is just, let's just have the best man for the job or the most qualified for the loans. Like, that's what
meritocracy.
I want. Yeah. Like
meritocracy. Whoever exactly. And so,
look, I don't complain that the majority of, I'm sure the majority of players in the NBA are probably a certain race,
right.
and that doesn't bother me. They're just better at basketball. Like.
Right. Well, and this debate's, you know, has been had in many different places. Right. And nobody cares because it's all about, like, NBA team owners are going to put the absolute best 5 guys out there on the court to win them games, and they do not care. Yeah. And they wouldn't care if it was a woman. Yeah. But, you know, the whole thing.
We know about that one, the
right.
WNBA. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason nobody can even tell you what team Brittany Griner played for.
Yeah, I could not tell you.
Oh,
I wouldn't have known who she was if
I could maybe come up with the name of 1 or 2 WNBA teams, just because a lot of them they try to make it similar to the same NBA team in that city or whatever. But yeah, like I'd be hard pressed to name you, and I'm. Because I went to the University of Tennessee, women's basketball is a big deal there, thanks to Pat Summitt, and I still, I struggle to have any interest in. Anyway, that's a total different subject. We don't need to get off on that.
Well, that's what you had me looking for a joke on the.
Well, I saw the best one I saw about the whole deal is this guy was talking about how stupid it was, and the crowd was kind of like gasping. It's like, okay, so you all are such big. It's like, what team did Brittany Griner play for?
Yeah,
he's like, not a single one of you even know what team she played for. Like, and yet if that was, you could pick the 100th most popular NBA player, and I guarantee you there'd been people in the crowd that would have known exactly what team he played for.
Yeah,
because, I mean.
It's true.
Men and women are different.
They are.
Men are bigger, faster, and stronger, can jump higher, and they're more entertaining to watch play basketball. There I said it. Cancel me if you wish.
Yeah, that is just that's just the fact of the matter. It's not saying men are better than women in life. Like, there's things we've talked about before. There are many things. My wife is far better at many things than I am. Yeah. But if a jar of pickles has to be opened, I'm the one that's going to open them. If a guy busts in the door to attack our family, I'm the one stepping up to stop him. Like, I do got to play this, and then we'll talk about our brand for the night. But this guy is funny. I sent you one of his stuff today.
You did.
I've been to hundreds of WNBA games. I know you're offended. I don't care. Like, it's terrible. The final score is like 21-2. Like, are you chicks even trying? Like, what the fuck? There's no dunks. They all just pass. Like, you do it. I'm afraid. Like, it's just a lot of passing. Like, can you believe we only make $12 a year? It's like, there's no one here. It's me, because I have a gambling problem, and then a few lesbians strewn about the stadium making out. Like, there's a safe place. Like, that's all. They're not even watching the game. Also, I'll stop doing this joke the minute anyone in the audience can tell me 7 active WNBA players. It's never happened. I did this joke in Arizona, and there was like a WNBA girl in the crowd. She plays, and she goes, I play in the WNBA, and I can't even do it. And like everyone laughed. She's like, I only know my teammates. I'm like, yeah, that's 5. I've been to hundreds of WNBA.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Well, that's that pretty well, I guess, wraps up the episode on the, like I said, Tyson just being typical big operator on the block and manipulating the system.
Yeah, and it just, right, we've detailed, which they've had several interesting legal, like not even ag-related legal issues with the, oh boy, getting blackout drunk and going to the wrong house.
And you got to get really drunk.
Which that, you could spend a whole episode breaking that down, because it's like, all right, this dude, like, he's a multi-millionaire. And even though he's one of the younger, the generation, like, there's no way he lives in a cookie cutter home. But yeah, we've already talked about, like, for him to stumble into the wrong home and get it climbing to, like, that's just, and then there was the one where the guy bit the guy's face.
Yeah, now was that Tyson too?
So
that was the meat thing.
Well, but it's like a Tyson. He had been at Tyson for like 30 years.
Oh man.
And then he had just recently left to go to like Beyond or one of the imitation meat companies. But I don't know, I can't say certain, but pretty much that company was like a subsidiary, or they were in some way related to Tyson, because that's a frustrating thing. All these big meat companies have all invested in the fake stuff too. Yeah. And so
it's just crap.
It was. Wave. So I don't know that there was an official link between that company that he currently was like the CEO of and Tyson, but there was a definite Tyson flavor, no pun intended, still with that company. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they
Tyson dudes like to drink, because that was after a football game. I'm pretty sure he was probably intoxicated too. So party. I mean, it's Arkansas. What are you going to do? I mean, not much to do over there.
No, you got to drink, man. You just nothing else to do. All right, so
now that we hopefully offended all our Arkansas audience and maybe the WNBA fans in our audience and everybody.
You did see where our first episode back, we had an Alabama fan comment on the video.
I'll have to go in there, because I'll go back and forth with them.
Yeah. No, they were
all in fun, but
yeah, they were all good, but they it was like the very first episode back from over the break, and they said what was it they put in here? Man, it was funny. Skip a week, then trash the Tide. Not starting out so hot in 2023. Just kidding. Love the show. I actually responded, and I just said, ha, ha, ha. Hey, that actually was the guy. I'm pretty sure that's the dude that we just answered his question tonight, looking at his name on the line of credit. Jeremy. If that...
well, Jeremy, we appreciate you engaging with
us.
Sure.
We do. We'll forgive you for being Alabama fans. But
hey, if you're... I get salty, and we've talked about this.
It was Jeremy. Thank you, buddy.
Jeremy's probably from Alabama. So you know what?
Support your team, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. But no, for real, we do appreciate the questions.
As long as you weren't born and raised in Tennessee and you're like a 10th generation
Tennessean
and just randomly an Alabama fan. Those are the ones that drive us crazy.
Yes.
Anyway.
We do appreciate your question. And that's a good lead in. Do submit your questions to us on talkdirtpodcast.com, on this YouTube video, anything, man. Let us comment below. And I always say this, I'm like, man, anything, any topic you want us to cover. I don't think y'all realize the fact that, like, any topic that y'all would like to hear me and Bobby Lee go on and rant about.
We don't have like an itinerary for the year.
No.
The 52 topics we're going to talk about.
No. Like, you're throwing us a bone. I mean, there are always current events in ag. We will always talk about those. But if there is some topic that you would just like, you're like, man, I bet it'd be funny to hear them guys, or I'd like to know their take on this, we'd love to hear it. Comment below and we'll cover it. The brand, you got the thing ready? Oh, we almost forgot, man. We are our commander-in-chief.
I had it. I've already got it pulled up, but yeah.
Made in America.
Yeah.
So tonight's company is actually a buddy of mine's. He's a really good dude. Super. I mean, when it comes to like views and beliefs, values, he's right in line with us. And that is Steady Grounds Coffee Company. Got their hat on tonight. Look, we all drink coffee. I'm going to be honest. I'm not particularly a huge fan of what Black Rifle Coffee. They've kind of changed on me a little bit, you know.
See, I haven't kept up with what they've been up to lately.
They got weird after the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. They kind of started to.
Well, and I saw some of that, and their stance on that was they weren't going to like endorse him. It was like he like came out and he was wearing one of their shirts or something. And,
he did, yeah.
And they didn't like denounce him, but they were like, you know, we're not going to like sponsor him or anything, you know.
Evan Hafer did a discussion about it, and it was good, but it was still kind of weird, kind of some of the stuff they did. And then when they went public, they like really kind of, I feel like they kind of more are trying to lighten their, you know, they're
not the super hardcore right-wing gun guys anymore.
Yes, they've gone a little soft on that. And George and them, I mean, George is just, like I said, he's super, super solid conservative dude. And I mean, it's legit. You're supporting a legit small business. Like George and them, it's literally George and his wife. Like, they roast this coffee. When you place your order online, George will roast the coffee like the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Like, it's.
Oh yeah, I actually ordered from them once, and I got like a little handwritten note from them.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, they on mine, they wrote like, they hope this coffee energizes me even more than my John Deere tractors or something. Like, it's like, which, I mean, they knew who I was, so they knew kind of to tailor it. But yeah, you get a note. Yeah. I mean, they're a legit small business, but it's really good coffee.
They're in Mississippi, right? Did you mention that? Okay.
Yeah. The kind I like is the Mississippi Midnight is the name of it. I like real dark coffee. And but check them out, Steady Grounds Coffee. Let me see if I want to share the website.
And of course, they're not far from us, being that we're just like 45 minutes from the state line or so, which I don't know where in Mississippi they are. But anyway, you can order from them, and shipping's, heck, I think like most places, I think you buy a certain amount, it's free shipping, but it was very reasonable. Like, it was comparable to buying from some of these competitive companies.
Yeah, they're SteadyGroundsCoffeeCo.com, and they've got all bark, no bite. They got a fair trade. They got a decaf there in case you want a decaf. The Jumpstart Medium Roast, that's their medium.
That's what I'm currently drinking, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Mississippi Midnight Dark Roast, that's one I like a lot. But they did have some cool ones. They come out with these ready-to-brew pouches. Have you seen those?
So I've seen some of that. I'm kind of a snob. I get my whole bean.
You grind them?
Dude, man. If you're going to do something, you do it right.
No, I do the Chemex pour over on some of mine.
I see. Yeah, you're even more of a coffee snob than me on that.
I just don't grind them myself.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love getting up like real early in the morning, like turning the coffee grinder on, waking up the whole house. I'm like the typical dad on a Saturday morning.
Well, you need to check out their ready to brew pouches, man. They then you can pour it over. It's a little thing that folds out, and you like put it over your mug, and you pour the hot water in there, and you can brew it right there.
Well, and I bought. I'm like, and I don't know if it was like you buy that many and you get free shipping, whatever. Why I did it, but I bought 4 bags of the beans, and I got a little bag, and I've yet to open it. Is that what that is?
I bet it is.
Okay.
I bet they sent you one.
Well, I've been like, like, because I don't know exactly what it's like. I don't want to open it and not use it. So
Yeah.
well, I may have to look at that.
Yeah, you might, and I think you want to use it on like a Yeti. Like I don't think you want it on like a regular coffee cup because it needs to be kind of up higher.
Yeah. So it's above. Yeah.
Yeah, and pour over. But yeah,
Like with your pour over, what do you do? You just boil some water like in a pan?
yeah, bowl. Now the guys that really get into it, man, they got a temperature they get it at. Like I have been at a thing where Black Rifle Coffee was there, and the guy he showed us how to use the Chemex, and they actually they weigh out the coffee grains, and then they get the water to a certain temperature, and then you do a bloom. You pour like the way I do it. I'll tell you how I do it because I don't have any of that shit. Like I just got the Chemex. It's a weird name. It sounds weird. Chemex sounds like a very chemical involved
Sounds like
thing.
you're making meth.
It does. But I just boil some water, and when it starts to boil, I turn the burner off for like 2 minutes and let the water sit. And I've got my Chemex, and you put this filter in there, and you pour some water around on the filter, and it'll like stick to the glass. It's a glass, almost like an hourglass shape. And I dump that water out, and I put my coffee in there, and then I've got a little teapot.
It's like a beaker, like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I mean, it looks like you're making meth.
Yeah.
Like all the times I've made meth, it's very similar. But
you got your hazmat suit and your
yeah, I got on my whitey tighties. You know, I wear whitey tighties and a hazmat
you
suit.
got your goggles and all your PPE.
Yes, that's right, PPE. But I poured the water. I got a little teapot thing. It was, I guess, our grandmother's because I just found it in the house. I needed a pot to use, so I pour the water into the pot, and then you pour it over it. And you can actually judge the freshness of the coffee by the bloom. The first pour, you pour the water in there on the grains, and then you're supposed to you wait, and it'll actually bubble up, and it's releasing the gases out of the grounds.
You are totally nerding out.
And then, then you go on and pour it in there. Oh, I'm telling you, it is the best coffee I've ever had. Like,
I thought I was a nerd just because I bought whole bean. I've just got a coffee grinder.
Well, I haven't gotten that yet, but if it's like a Saturday morning and I just don't have, which now we've got basketball most Saturday mornings, but like if it's a morning I get up and I just don't have anything to do, and I'm just feeling a little like, man, I just want a good, because you get a stout cup of coffee, like you can taste it, like it is the freshest, stoutest cup of coffee you'll ever have.
I would like that, like, 'cause I do like a stout.
Oh, your
dark.
mustache will double in length.
I may have to give me one of them things, one of them Chemexes.
Yeah, it's just a neat process, man. It's
I feel
cool.
like I'm Walter White as I make my morning cup of coffee.
Yes. Yeah, but no, Steady Grounds Coffee Co. Like I said, George and them are awesome. They're really, really good people. And I mean, he's doing it in his garage. Like he's moonlighting this thing because he's actually a strength coach in Mississippi for football. Well, I guess maybe a whole school in strength in Mississippi, but it's really solid coffee. I mean, and they write on the bag, like you can tell, like my coffee had been brewed like.
Oh yeah, they got the date the day they roasted it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like when I got mine, they roasted it like 3 days before I got it.
Does he grow the beans there in Mississippi?
Yes, yes, he's got some little workers in the back, and they grow them. Yeah. He's a small guy, but he's got about 4,500 acres of coffee beans growing behind his house. No, that would be cool if we could do that.
We don't grow coffee in this country, I guess.
It's apparently takes a very like tropical type climate. Because I was like, man, that'd be pretty cool
to grow
some coffee beans.
When my wife and I, when we went on our honeymoon, we went to the Dominican Republic, and I know we went and saw some people that were growing cocoa.
Yeah.
And we got like some real like
cocaine.
Cocoa.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Well, yeah. I mean, when in Rome. No, we were in Dominican Republic, not Colombia.
Yeah.
But my wife is from Colombia, but not the country Colombia. But anyway, yeah. So it was like some real chocolate. Like we brought it back. It's like it's ground up and it's like the pure baking stuff. But it seemed like. Maybe I'm misremembering. That was a while ago.
I would think there was coffee out there.
Or if they grew actual coffee. But anyway, yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. SteadyGroundsCoffeeCo.com. Order some for them. Nothing would like tickle me more than if suddenly, because I'm in a little group chat with George, if like suddenly he was like, dudes, I just got my website just like exploded with people ordering coffee from me. Like, even if you get on there and order one bag, that would just tickle the crap out of me. Go and order some coffee on there. Like, I would love for him to be like, I don't know where this sudden influx of orders came from. But do that. Check them out. The coffee is really solid. They're awesome people. Hey, hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Share this with your friends. Leave us a rating and a review. I guess we've covered. Oh, and hit the little bell. I've been trying to tell people to hit the little notification bell so you know when we drop them.
You'll know once the video is up.
Yep. That's all I got.
Yeah, like it. That's a good one.
Y'all take care.
Talk to you next week.